What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of your favorite nerdy show, Nerd Central. I am your host, Noah Ferguson, and we have some cool things to show and tell you lovely viewers. Speaking of cool things, how about a new desk by chance? Sheesh! This is nice! Guys, let's hop right into the news. The brand new Daredevil TV show got a new teaser for fans. In the teaser, we see how brutal Daredevil can be as he goes through New York exacting his vengeance. The TV series is slated to release on March 4th of this year, and 2 episodes will drop on the release date. Be sure to check out this series, and if you're a big fan of The Man Without Fear. To end today's news, we turn to the anime side. Recently, we saw the main character of Dragon Ball Daima achieve a form that people have been theorizing he'd have for years. Yes, Goku finally transformed to Super Saiyan 4. Is a loved form by many fans as it was iconic in the older series Dragon Ball GT. Fans have been taking to social media having a mixture of both positive and negative responses, primarily positive. Daima was a final goodbye from the late artist Akira Toriyama, meaning him making Super Saiyan 4 canon in the overarching story of Dragon Ball Z is a love letter to the fan base. And guys, that wraps up today's news. Following up, we got a new set of packs from our dear crew, so let's check them out. What's the new hero today, Tayden?
Alright, let's finally take a timeout on DC and finally head into Marvel. Well, who are we going to talk about? Well, let's talk about the X-Men. We all know them. You got Wolverine, Cyclops, Forget-Me-Not, Beast, Gambit, Forget-Me-Not, Jean Grey, Storm, Forget-Me-Not. Hello and welcome back to Forgotten Games. I'm Tayden Hensley and I have a question for you. Have you ever felt forgotten and that nobody remembers you? I don't know why I did that. This isn't live. Well, meet Forget-Me-Not, whose whole power is that everybody forgets his existence the second they look away from him. Forget-Me-Not, aka Zabi, was on the X-Men for 6 years but remained absent from official rosters. His powers are so forgettable that Professor Charles Xavier had to place a psychic reminder in his head to force himself to remember Forget-Me-Not's existence every hour. Until he died. And after the Professor's death, Forget-Me-Not pretty much lost the one connection he had with the X-Men, which caused him to be depressed, and he wanted to get rid of his powers, until he realized he could still do some good in the world without being noticed. So, that's exactly what he would do, as once he would guard the grounds at Jean Grey's School of Higher Learning as he was once confronted by an outcast who wanted to join the X-Men, and Forget-Me-Not helped her escape the mansion's defense by taking their place in a trap. Forget-Me-Not would always try his best to help out his X-Men, as he once said, "It's better to do something that matters and not be noticed than the other way around." Now comes the hard part, actually doing something that matters. But that would all come to an end when he would join the Legionnaires on the island of Krakoa, where the Legionnaires would fight against the powerful villain Warlock and where Forget-Me-Not would sacrifice himself to save his friends. But sadly, his death would go unnoticed. And I hate to say this, but Forget-Me-Not is the literal definition of a hero to zero. Crazy thing about it, Forget-Me-Not was actually the reason why I made this show, just because of how unique his powers are. And he has a complex story that more people should hear about. And it would be really cool if he would, be live action. Marvel, come on, man. I doubt it would happen, but either way, I'm Tayden Hensley, and this has been Hero to... Wait, who were we talking about again?
Hey everyone, I'm your host Noah Ferguson, and welcome to episode 3 of Reels and Beats. In last week's episode, we discussed Carla Sofia Gascon, the leading actress for Netflix's Best Picture nomination at the Oscars, Emilia Perez, so be sure to check out on future episode to hear my takes and my future predictions. Also in last week's episode, I discussed my time at Tyler the Creator's Chromacopia World Tour, and how much of a memorable experience it was. Being able to surprise my sister, and seeing some of my friends and peers just made that experience 10 times better and a dream come true. So like I said last week, I will be discussing Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance when he played during the Kansas City and Philadelphia game. So let's hop right into it. This 13-minute masterpiece starts with actor Samuel L. Jackson portraying both Uncle Sam and his character in Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, when he took on a different uncle, that being Uncle Tom from Harriet Beecher Stowe's book Uncle Tom's Cabin. Jackson's job was to keep Lamar in check, to play the game. Sure, you can look at this as a double entendre, but Jackson's character is playing a genuine head in government. He doesn't want Lamar to spread his message, saying he's being too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Shortly after, we see Lamar on the street-like stage with light posts all up and down, eventually seeing all of his background dancers all being people of color coming out of a Buick Grand National, solely forming an American flag but with a clear split down the middle. Self-explanatory, but probably to show the divisiveness in American culture today. Even rapping 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music, which if you don't remember from middle or high school history classes, it refers to a promise from Union General William T. Sherman's special order towards former slaves that were told they'd receive land of 40 acres with of course a mule after the Civil War. Lamar was seen wearing Celine flare jeans priced at $1,300 while also accessorizing a chain with a lowercase a. Could refer to the A minor line from Not Like Us, or his creative communications company that focuses on visual media and music production, PG Lang, founded and owned by Lamar and his producer Dave Free. At this point, it was previously announced before the show, SZA came out and performed a perfect duet. Genuinely, if you're going to their concert, I'm incredibly jealous. Anyways, they performed Luther and All the Stars, where Uncle Sam came back and said nice and calm and to not mess this up. This is what Lamar wants. He's playing chess while everyone above him is playing checkers. And this fits his overall games and rules narrative sprinkled throughout his entire performance. For one, the stage layout. We see a square, triangle, X, and a circle, all representing a Sony PlayStation controller, while also performing on one of the biggest games of the year. When Kendrick ended his performance, he had the words "Game Over" flash behind him. Summing up all the diss on Drake include Lamar continually teasing his song of the year, Not Like Us. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue, Lamar said. Even tennis player star Serena Williams made a surprise cameo, as we see her crip walking, recalling her past critical victory dance at Wimbledon after striking gold at the 2012 London Olympics, and after supposed dating rumors of the Canadian rapper. And finally, with his cheeky smile, Lamar flicked his head to the camera and said, "Say Drake, you guys can finish the lyrics, but wow." And this isn't the first time K-Dot has taken the field before. The last time he was here, he performed with all sorts of other rappers including Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and 50 Cent. Aside from the beef, I truly did enjoy this halftime performance. It was full of storytelling and symbolism, and showing true representation of West Coast hip-hop, showing the true roots of Compton, where he's from, and the overall American cultural divide. And this performance did just that, leaving specific conservative news organizations and political influencers, showing frustration and objecting to the performer's halftime performance.
The halftime show was awful.
I didn't like halftime.
The worst halftime ever.
What a nightmare. I kept sitting there saying, you know, maybe I just don't get this guy, Kendall Lamar, and he won all these Grammys.
It was so bad, Jimmy Carter came back to life just to turn off the TV.
Bro, I couldn't understand a word that was being said.
It was hard to make out what was actually being said.
So bad, Trump was hoping someone would shoot him in the ear again.
Kendrick Lamar's 12 minutes of rap was basically a musical grudge match.
For me, it wasn't mass appeal.
The music itself is not broad enough or well known enough to reach generations.
Now that Trump's president, we have someone like Willie Nelson at halftime.
Let's put Carrie Underwood and Reba and Morgan Wallen. Let them have a go at it.
A full-on Trump rally for the halftime show. Morgan Wallen or Zach Bryan plays his 2 or 3 songs. Trump comes out with an executive desk, signs 5 executive orders, and Shane Gillis takes us out with a 5-minute set.
Yeah, way to age yourself, everyone. Not everything has to be about you or for your specific age demographic. And guys, it's probably best I end this segment here before I get in trouble. So be sure to comment, did you enjoy Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance? I feel like you either loved it or hated it, so be sure to let me know. And be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Reels and Beats, your segment for all things movie and music news entertainment. I've been your host, Noah Ferguson, and I'll see you guys next time. And hey, if you have someone in your life who's dissing this performance, and I'm not saying it's their cup of tea, or you know, rap isn't for me, but being blatantly distasteful and hateful is just disgusting. And just let them know, Kendrick Lamar is a Pulitzer Prize winning, 57-time nominated, and 22 winning Grammy Award winner. There are another 58 halftime performances that may tickle their fancy, and not all of them have to follow their specific agenda. And just remember guys, they're not like us.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of Slashback, where we discuss various slasher icons, their backstories, what makes them significant to the genre, and what makes them unique from the rest. I'm your host, Wiley Goff, and on today's episode, I will be discussing Leatherface. With his debut dating back in 1974, Leatherface's backstory has evolved through various takes because of how long he's been around. However, some key factors remain the same. Leatherface was born into the Sawyer family, who was known for their violent tendencies. In some versions, he was born with physical deformities. These include a skin condition that caused his face to rot away, and second, a tumor on his nose that ended up deteriorating. He also suffered from mental health issues, including psychosis and intellectual disabilities. As a child, Leatherface was severely bullied, which contributed to his psychological trauma. All of these factors combined would cause him to wear masks, which would actually be the faces of his victims. In the 2017 prequel titled Leatherface, a young Jedediah Sawyer, who we would find out would be Leatherface, is taken from his family and placed in a mental institution after participating in the murder of a sheriff's daughter. He spends about 10 years in this facility where he endures abuse and electroshock therapy, and in this one we see him get shot in the cheek instead of having the deformities he was born with. Leatherface's family, particularly his mother, Verna Sawyer in some versions, played a crucial role in shaping his murderous tendencies. The family's loss of employment at a local slaughterhouse is often cited as a catalyst to their return to violence. This backstory explains how Leatherface evolved from a troubled, abused child into the chainsaw-wielding, skin mask-wearing killer of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. That'll wrap up his backstory. Now, what makes Leatherface so significant to the genre is that he literally pioneered the slasher genre. With his debut dating back in 1974, he helped shape the modern slasher genre. His brutal, senseless violence and pursuit of victims set the stage for countless other horror icons like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and even Freddy Krueger. Another thing that makes Leatherface so significant is his backstory and the connection he has to his family, because it adds layers of psychological horror to his character. In my opinion, he's not just a mindless killer. He's a product of a twisted family dynamic which deepens the horror and makes this story resonate on an unsettling level. That's what makes him significant. Now, what makes him iconic is that his mask is made from human skin and is one of the most disturbing and memorable aspects of his character. It's not only physically terrifying, but it also symbolizes the twisted nature of his actions, making it an iconic image in horror. Leatherface is widely regarded as one of the earliest and most influential slashers and helped shape the archetype for the masked killer, inspiring countless other characters and films in the genre, making him a cornerstone of horror cinema. That'll do it for today's episode of Slashback. Tune in next week where I'll be talking about Jason Voorhees. I've been Wiley Goff, and thank you for watching Slashback.
Hello and welcome back to Nick's PSA Reviews. I'm Nicholas Givens, and this week we'll be talking about two anti-smoking ads. One of them is from the CDC's Tips from Former Smokers campaign, and the other one's from the California Department of Public Health. Let's get the ball rolling and start with the CDC PSA, featuring a woman named Tanya who suffered from heart failure because she smoked.
Because I smoked, I have heart failure. I had to have open heart surgery and a battery-operated heart pump installed inside of me to keep me alive. At night, I have to plug myself into the wall to keep the pump working. My tip is, try not to be a restless sleeper, because if you're not plugged in, you don't have very long to live.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
This ad is not as creepy as some of the other ads in this campaign, but it is still creepy with the sound of the heart pump. What I like about this one is that you are hearing a first-hand account of what smoking can do to you, just like other ads in this campaign. The scare factor for this one is a 3 out of 10. While it is not as creepy as other anti-smoking ads, it is still creepy with the sound of the heart pump. What makes this one more sad than scary is the fact that she died 4 years after filming this because of smoking-related causes. The next ad we will talk about is one you might have seen at the beginning of DVDs as a kid. This one is from the California Department of Public Health and is called Icons.
Tobacco companies show you images of what life would be like if you smoke.
They tell you tough, hard-working people smoke their cigarettes.
That you look cool, hip,
rebellious. That smoking makes you independent, beautiful, and mysterious.
But the reality is that you can end up looking like this.
Ah yes, cigarette ads that claim that smoking will make you look cool are skillfully and thoroughly deconstructed in this PSA. What I like about this one is the beeping playing along with the music as the tobacco mascots discuss how their companies deceive consumers into buying their products, only for the music to stop and the beeping revealed to have been coming from the life support machine that the guy is hooked up to because he smoked. That is what makes this PSA creepy, but good. I'm going to give this one a scare factor of 6 out of 10. This is because of how creepy the guy looks as a result of smoking cigarettes, which can be described as very shriveled. How is to explain why he is on life support? Just like the other PSA we talked about, this one does not need any improvements in my opinion. I'm Nicholas Givens, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.
My name is Joe Huber, back with another episode of Star Wars Lore. Today we will discuss why Anakin believed the Jedi were evil. Too many people watch Star Wars, especially The Revenge of the Sith, and they may see it clear as day to why Anakin betrayed the Jedi and essentially why he thought they were evil. They may think, well, he was crazy, he hated the Jedi, or because he wanted to save his wife. While all these answers could be true, there is much more than that. I think the best way to do it is to hear it from Anakin's point of view directly, in the book following The Revenge of the Sith novelization, The Dark Lord. Vader explains to himself as he goes over the events in his mind, how he executed Sidious's command because the Jedi would have never understood his decision to kill Mace Windu and the rest of the Order so that Padme might survive his nightmares. He felt the Jedi would stand in the way of his decisions regarding the fate of the galaxy. So, right here we can see the power struggle and the need for control over what he felt would be the best fate of the galaxy. He then thought of killing Sidious and the events that would ensue after this. He thought about winning the war for the Republic, but he knew that even the Jedi would have fought him to the bitter end for what he did to Mace. He thought of them taking custody of his children paralyzed him, knowing that they think his children would be a powerful asset to the Academy, possibly the most powerful. He thought to himself, if only the Jedi Council hadn't been so set in their ways, so deceived by their own pride, they would have grasped that the Jedi needed to be brought down. He believed the Jedi Order had grown stale, corrupt, and overall self-serving. In a way, he was right. This is the same reason Count Dooku left the Order, and why Qui-Gon was never on, nor wanted to be on the Jedi Council. Feeling disrespected at being called the Chosen One, all while being denied the rank of Master. Anakin felt like they were holding him back. He deemed it unsettling that they didn't trust him enough yet, expected him to do their dirty work, to lie for them, and spy on the Chancellor. I believe that if we observe the Jedi Council from Anakin's views, this would give a better understanding of how he really felt. So imagine being taken from your mother, from your home planet, as a young boy to become a Jedi Knight. Your master dies, and now you are pawned off to his apprentice. You're forbidden from ever visiting your mother ever again, though you have feelings for her dying, and in need of your help. Because of the Jedi rules, you get married in secret to Padme, and keep it a secret from everyone. This is extremely uncomfortable. You were promised to become a peacekeeper, but you're turned into a general of war. This would make you resent the Jedi for their hypocrisy. They abandoned your Padawan Ahsoka for being accused of murder. Then the Jedi wants you to spy on one of the only people you trust, Palpatine. They tell you to accept death of those you love, just like when Yoda told Anakin during the indirect confession about Padme dying.
Careful you must be when sensing the future, Anakin. The fear of loss is a path to the dark side.
And then they try to kill Palpatine without even giving him a fair trial. If we look at it from his eyes, all this pain and unnecessary pressure to be the Chosen One, yet denied the rank he felt that he deserved, we can justify why he thought perhaps the Jedi were evil, and thus leading to his turn. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Star Wars Lore. My name is Joe Huber, and may the Force be with you.
And guys, that's a wrap on today's video. If you enjoyed and loved our packs, be sure to leave a comment down below on what your favorite is. And while you're down there, leave a like on the video and subscribe to support us. Might as well hit the notification bell too, right? I'm Noah Ferguson, and this has been Nerd Central. Stay nerdy.